All right, let's talk about a problem that quietly but absolutely wrecks companies from the inside out. It's something that drains money, morale, and momentum. Most leaders have dealt with it, but very few understand the true scale of the damage. We're talking about the real cost of a bad hire.
So, just for a second, let me ask you, when you hear bad hire, what's the first cost that jumps into your mind? Is it their salary, right? Maybe the fee you paid a recruiter? Well, whatever number you're thinking of, I'm willing to bet it's not even close.
Because here's the thing, that salary, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real damage, the stuff that truly hurts, is all lurking right below the surface. It's way more expensive, and it spreads kind of like a poison in ways you will never ever see on a balance sheet.
The best way to think about it is like a ripple effect. Imagine your organization is a perfectly still pond. A bad hire, that's the stone you just dropped in. And the damage doesn't just stay in one spot. Oh no, it spreads outwards, these waves that hit your finances, your team, and even your product.
So first, let's just follow the money. Right off the bat, you've got the recruitment and onboarding costs. But then the meter just keeps on running, doesn't it? There's all the wasted time your managers spend supervising them, the cost of redoing all their mistakes. That leads to project delays. And then you have to pay all over again to replace them. It's not one single cost. It's just this series of financial hits that keeps compounding.
But honestly, the money might be the least of your problems. The damage to your team can be so much worse. Your best people, your A players, they're the ones forced to pick up all the slack, and that leads straight to burnout. Collaboration just sputters and dies when you can't trust the person working next to you. And as soon as trust disappears, morale plummets. It's a silent culture killer.
And a broken team culture that inevitably infects the product itself. This is the final biggest ripple. Suddenly, poor decisions and weak execution just become normal. Delivery slows to a crawl. You start racking up all this technical debt that's like a ball and chain on any future progress. And maybe the worst part of all, you start missing huge opportunities in the market, all because the wrong person is sitting in a key seat.
So, when you see all this damage laid out, the really big question is, why on earth does this keep happening? If the cost is so incredibly high, why are so many smart companies making these same painful mistakes over and over again?
It pretty much boils down to one fundamental mistake. It's a trap that is so easy to fall into. We'll call it hiring on assumption. It's what happens when we get wowed by a polished resume, a really confident speaker, and perfect interview answers. We just assume they're the right person, but we never stop to ask for actual proof.
And this shows the two opposing worlds perfectly. On one side, you've got hiring on assumption. It's built on a really shaky foundation of just resumes and talk. But on the other side, there's hiring on proof, and that is built on a rock-solid foundation of evidence. It's not about how well someone can talk about the work, it's about how well they can do the work. And that difference is absolutely everything.
So how do we actually stop the ripple effect? Well, we have to make an intentional shift. It's about consciously moving from a mindset of guessing to a mindset of knowing. We have to evolve our process from assumption to proof. This whole shift, it starts by changing the question we're asking ourselves. For way too long, the default question has just been, who sounds the most impressive? And come on, we've all fallen for it, the charming candidate with all the right answers. But we have to realize that being impressive in an interview is a totally different skill than being effective on the job. Instead, we need to ask a much better, much more powerful question. Who has demonstrated they can actually perform in the real conditions of this role? Let's just focus on those keywords. Demonstrated, not just talked about it. Real conditions, not some hypothetical interview puzzle. This one change shifts the entire game from being a performance to being a real evaluation. And when you start asking that question consistently, hiring just transforms. It stops being some administrative HR function, and it becomes what it truly is, a core business strategy for winning.
This winning approach really becomes a three-part strategy that directly fights all that damage we saw earlier. First, it's a financial strategy because it stops those hidden costs before they can even start. Second, it's a team protection strategy because you're shielding your culture from weak links. And third, it's a product quality strategy because it guarantees the people building your product are the absolute best.
Ultimately, this is where the future of hiring is going. The organizations that are going to win are not going to be fooled by a good resume or a smooth talker. They'll be the ones that assess skills with hard evidence in the right context using real-world validation. They'll be the ones who demand proof.
So I'll leave you with one final question to take back to your own team. Take a really honest look at your hiring process. Is it built on assumption or is it built on proof? The answer to that question could change everything.